A gunman is canonized while his victim remains paralyzed. I speak of former LA gang member, aren't they all, Jared Nava, who went from facing life in prison to a job at the California state capitol thanks to Governor Gavin Newsom. I know. I haven't seen a worse hire since this guy. Oh. He was too unpopular to be in a gang. It's all detailed in a recent LA Times profile on Nava, which softens his violent past by chalking it up to a rough childhood and cites Newsom to make the case that he's rehabilitated. In 2012, get this, Nava shot into a car carrying the relatives of rival gang members, and one of the victims was a 16-year-old girl who was hit in the back and paralyzed from the waist down. Nava was convicted on 4 counts of attempted murder, and he was sentenced to 162 years in prison, or what prisoners call serving a full Biden. 162 years, he's going to have to eat a lot of balance in nature to ever see freedom again. But get this, he served only 8 years after Newsom commuted his sentence in 2020, which was not what Californians wanted when they asked for help with commuting. I know, I felt bad putting that in there. But 8 years of a 162-year sentence, and here we thought prison reform only affects non-violent prisoners. But come on, it's California. To serve all 162 years of his sentence, he would have had to done something serious, like get caught using a plastic straw while misgendering a carjacker. Get this, after a filmmaker introduced Nava to the Secretary of State Senate, Nava gets a job in the Department of Public Safety. I know. So you heard that correctly. A dude who paralyzed a 16-year-old girl now works in public safety. So what's next? Putting an arsonist in charge of preventing wildfires? Placing a repeat shoplifter in charge of preventing retail theft? And what exactly is going to be his role in public safety? Teaching gangs to use their turn signals on their next drive-by? They say he'll focus on prison reform, which today in California means no prison at all. Ominous ending, Michelle. So you're telling me, Michelle, there's no one more qualified than this guy? Like, hey, we ran out of qualified applicants. Get the guy who paralyzed the girl.
This is so disgusting. And, you know, this puff piece they did in the LA Times was all about was rough and tumble upbringing. It was awful, and so naturally he just joined a gang, because that's what you do when you have an awful upbringing, right, Tyrus?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, the requirements, I was too tall.
But I will say that, you know, there are plenty of stories that go the absolute opposite direction, where people grow up in awful circumstances and find their way out to something good. There are plenty of them. What makes me the most nauseous about this story is Gavin Newsom saying, after I met him, and I saw now that he's made something of his life, I went back to my office and I cried, I wept. It's like, but Gavin, did you happen to go meet the young 16-year-old girl? Mm-hmm. What about her future? What about her life? Are you crying over that? That's my simple question for you, Governor.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Shameless plug for Fox News, will be on Fox, Kat, on Thursday debating Ron DeSantis. Perhaps we should ask him then. By the way, I'm all for second chances, but this seems like a weird second chance.
Yeah, when I lived in California, I had to work at Boston Market.
Yeah. You weren't even qualified.
I never shot anybody. Not even like an adult. Like, I never shot an adult.
No.
Let alone a child that I paralyzed.
Yeah.
And then I only was able to find restaurant employment mostly. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't think anybody really likes this. I think there's a lot of people who might pretend that they like this because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do. But I think most people might say, hey, you know, I kind of have someone in my family who's been looking for a job for a while. Yeah. Or when I said criminal justice reform, I didn't mean for people who shot and paralyzed. Nobody really likes this. I think a lot of people feel like they need to pretend like they do.
Yeah. You know what? Imagine being one of the finalists for that job. It's like, I'm sorry, you didn't get the job. Who got it? This guy who paralyzed a girl?
Yeah.
Everything about this is what's wrong with our administration. This is the equity, this is the reverse racism. It's not his fault that he attempted to kill 4 people.
Yes.
He even told them it was time to die. Even in court, when I think it was the judge said to him, and he said, He's like charging him with 4 counts of attempted murder. He's like, what are you talking about? That's just life. So he was unremorseful and he didn't care. He had 40 years that he had to actually serve, which is 10 for each life that he changed. Now, he didn't get hit with a bullet, but that's not something you just forget about. Now, then they decide, they pick him, they take him out, they give him a job, and then they cry about its virtue signaling its worst. He's a minority, he's from a rough neighborhood. That's not an excuse for nothing. Like everything, and everyone in here, half this audience had a rough upbringing. I guarantee it. They had choices they made. They decided whether to get in the car to go rob a store or not. They made the choice not to. No consequences because it's not your fault. You're a minority.
Yeah.
We have to help you. Look what I've done. I've taken one of them, and I even gave him a job. He didn't apply for that job. He still, if you caught him on the sign, like, what do you do? Like, I don't know. And you gave him these things.
Yeah.
And you just hope that he doesn't betray you.
Right.
Because what that happens is then someone else will be like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to release all the 17-year-olds that attempted murder and rape and give them a second chance. And when statistically 80% of them recommit, it's the system. We tried. They just can't learn. It's just not, that's why we have to take reading and math out of schools, because the blacks and the browns, we got to help them. And that's that mentality. And this dude should have done 40 years. Or you know what his job should have been? Changing her colostomy bag.
Yeah.
Wheeling her up the steps. How about that? How about some community service?
You know, Joe, the good news, now that he's a citizen, he won't be able to legally buy a gun, right?
Well, this tells me we got to do something about the prison to Sacramento pipeline. I don't know. How many years did he serve? 8 years?
Yeah.
So he had time to, his LinkedIn profile must have been tight
Yeah.
to lock down that job. To go from 162 years to 8 years, there's got to be something in between.
Yeah.
There's nobody who gets something that wrong where you can go in. You know, if you go into the deli and say, give me a half pound of turkey, and they give you 162 pounds of it, somebody gets fired.
Yes.
They don't get a government job. But the points that everyone's made are excellent about Gavin Newsom. This is just him showing what a narcissist he thinks he is, that he can be so godlike that he can come and bestow his grace upon people. Now, he didn't say anything about crying over the victim.
No.
Cried over although it could have been maybe he was getting a hot oil treatment, a little bit of VO5 dripped into his eyes. But it just goes to show that this is not working, that someone could commit a violent crime like this, and then the sentences mean nothing.
Yeah.
But something that really struck me about this, and we see in so many of these stories, is that he talks about his upbringing. It's tragic that he went this way, but what you see in all these stories is no father in the house. And that's what the policies that people like Gavin Newsom put forward. They take the fathers out of the house, and that's why this keeps repeating.
All right. There you go. All right. A politician turns the tables on reporters who told fables.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.